Yeah. Not only that, but he's reaching across state lines, so it's already federal as is. It's already federal as is. If he reached out, even in Mississippi, if he reached out to a missing person in another state that requires a proper PI license, and he is actually trying to get people, let's see who this is. I have a funny feeling I might know who it is. This is Betty.
Betty, this is Jim Terry.
I knew. I saw your number up here.
How are you?
I am not doing well. What the hell are you doing?
Talk to me about
that sounds great. Can you explain why you have a fictitious name in Mississippi going back to a property in the state of Florida, and why you're not following the state of Florida's licensing laws?
This is a fictitious business name registration with Mississippi Secretary of State. Pay attention to address given. It is a Florida address that comes back as the address for Jim Terry's music store. Jim Terry, the father, using the same names, just to confuse everyone, clearly.
Conduct and ask for business while residing here in the state of Florida.
I don't reside in the state of Florida, Betty. In order to get my license, the piece of paper, and a fictitious name is nothing but a business name.
Absolutely.
In the state of Mississippi, there is no private investigating license.
I know that.
There's no private investigating license in Colorado,
right,
Idaho, South Dakota, Wyoming, Alaska.
So you're acknowledging that you do not have the proper credentialing to get a PI license, that you only work in states that do not require a PI license because you're not a legitimate PI.
No, that's not true. I received an intern license when I completed a coursework in the state of Florida. But in the state of Florida, you have to work under a person for 2 years in order to get a Class C license, which means you can work on your own. So what I decided to do, because of the other career that I had, is to open the business up where I could work immediately.
Can you explain why your business license, let me ask you this. Can you explain why your business license, your fictitious name that registers you in the Mississippi, because you have to be a resident of Mississippi to have to conduct yourself as a Mississippi PI. You can't be, why is the address on your fictitious name in which you are relying to do business as a PI in Mississippi, why is it showing a Florida address?
Well, that's not true. You can't have a business in the state of Mississippi and not be a resident. Otherwise,
if you registered your fictitious business name in Mississippi to operate as a PI in Mississippi, then you can only investigate cases in Mississippi. But you didn't you? You would call all over United States, offer your services, and accept payment, while never leaving your hidden location's couch.
You cannot act. No.
Me the license. That's
no.
That's not true.
No, I read it, and I will be calling to confirm this. You can have any business you want. You're right about that. You can have any business you want registered in Mississippi and reside in another state. You absolutely can. But in order to conduct yourself as a Mississippi PI, you are required to have a resident or a brick and mortar business in order to conduct yourself in Mississippi as a PI. Where's your business? Where's your resident in Mississippi to conduct yourself as a PI?
I don't have a residence in Mississippi. I just told you that. I do not have
so
a residence in Mississippi.
So you cannot be using Mississippi law. Plus, tell me where you live. What state do you reside in?
Currently, I am in Mississippi.
You just told me you do not have a business or a resident in Mississippi. Just 2 seconds ago.
I didn't say, hey, listen, I could be staying with an uncle or an aunt here.
Yeah, I'm the one that you called out months ago when you were looking for that girl and telling about all her sexual behavior, which is disgusting to me, online, while you're looking for this missing Army gal, and she was in the side of the road after losing her mother and losing her shit, and you're on Facebook and YouTube putting out all of her personal private information, including who she's sleeping with and when, and their ethnicity. It was disgusting. It was deplorable. You have no ethical conduct or ethical bone in your body, and you're sitting here telling me on the phone that you do not reside in Mississippi, but you're claiming Mississippi as the state so you can conduct your PI business. I'm asking, what state is your license in? Is it in the state of Florida or is it in Mississippi? Because that matters as to what law you are required to follow.
My private investigating license is in the state of Mississippi.
That's not what I'm asking you.
Let's imagine I live in Ohio. Let's imagine I have a cat called Whiskers. Theoretically, I could register the fictitious business name in Mississippi. Let's say, Whiskers Snooping. I would then Google a missing person on the news, call the family, and sell them the world, the hope, and my amazing skills. I would make a few calls. I would listen to some gossip. I would then call the family back with the story that my wild imagination pieced together. While neither I nor Whiskers ever left our cozy couch. That's Jim Terry's P.I. shtick in a nutshell.
Call the Department of Agriculture.
Oh, I'm calling the state attorney. I'm not.
Call the Department of Agriculture in the state of Florida. They're very aware of who I am. They still have my old license in the state of Florida, which I would not have been able to have if I was a registered felon. But I just wanted to make sure that I cleared that up.
No. Nope. They don't have Jim Terry's old P.I. license in Florida, because he never had any P.I. license anywhere. Here's what he did. He paid $100-something for a 5-day course at Hillsborough Community College in Tampa, Florida. 5 days, 2 weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then following Saturday and Sunday. Then, he was supposed to obtain a 2-year internship with licensed private investigator, first sign a contract with such a firm, then apply for intern license, then learn for 2 years. He never even started, and yes, Department of Agriculture oversees private investigators in Florida, and yes, they are aware of Jim Terry. Due to multiple complaints from all over U.S. And no, he's not a convicted felon. He was, however, charged with felony, but it was downgraded as part of negotiations.
You keep doing what you're doing.
Let me ask you this.
My phone number
Where
is
do
out
you
there,
reside?
and right now,
Where do you reside? This state that you reside. Why won't you answer my very simple question? Why won't you answer my very simple question? Why are you not answering my very specific question? What state is your driver's license registered in?
Thank you so much,
what
Betty,
state
for
is your
giving me the platform. I'm glad I could answer the question.
What state is your license? Where do you reside? Are you residing in the state of Florida or the state of Mississippi? Is your driver's license registered in the state of Florida or in Mississippi? Then tell me where you're residing at.
Betty.
Where do you? Then why don't you just tell me where you reside at?
You're wrong.
State of Florida or Mississippi? State of Florida or Mississippi? Where do you reside in? State of Florida or Mississippi?
You need a hobby, Betty.
Where do you reside in? State of Florida or Mississippi? That determines what laws you are required to follow. Are you a resident of the state of Florida or Mississippi? You are nothing but a scam artist, a con man, and you can't answer the simplest of questions. You keep telling me to call this and call that. I don't think they realize you're scam yet. They will. They will. And you're sitting here trying to convince us that you're in Mississippi when we all know your driver's license says the state of freaking Florida. You're a fraud. You're a fraud. That's what you are. Couldn't answer a very specific question because he knows as soon as he answers that question, he knows he's in trouble with the law. Not a legitimate PI, preying on families. And I'm not done with you yet, James Michael Terry, con PI.
This conversation with YouTuber Bullhorn Betty was recorded in July of 2022. As of May 2023, Jim Terry no longer maintains his $25 business name registration in Mississippi. As of January 2024, Jim Terry continues to harass his former clients, families of missing, and YouTube creators. He keeps advertising as a private investigator on streaming platforms, on Rumble, and on a private app he pays for on Roku.